I just want to say we're so passionate about classic movies.
We're going to expand the conversation.
You can see the passion that's in this room.
It's thrilling to the core.
Put a new spin on some vintage films.
It's classic movies and more.
Hi, I'm Rob Madaska from Classic Movies and More, and for today we have a special guest, Jack Theakston.
Nice to be here.
Good to be here.
Pleasure.
Good to come down. Tell us basically how you got into classic film and why you're into this, why you love it so much.
Well, my father's probably to blame for that. When I was a kid, there was always classic movies on TV. I'd watch Laurel and Hardy and Little Rascals and things like that. But he really got me into the film exhibition end of things when I was about 5. He worked out a deal with some guy and bought a 16mm projector.
Okay.
And I remember one of the first films he ever got was the Lon Chaney Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, okay.
And I remember that being just amazing to see something on the big screen like that, you know? And so that has followed me throughout my years. I've done a lot of things with film and film restoration, but I'm really an exhibitor at heart, and I still, to this day, work in the movie theater business, or in the theater business.
Tell us a little about your career, where it started, where you're at now, all that stuff.
When I was younger, I started at the Lafayette Theater in Suffern, New York.
Okay.
That was kind of my neighborhood house growing up when I was a teenager, and we started doing Saturday morning classic screenings there, which they still do to this day.
Really? They still do?
They still do them. We did special events. During October, we did a horror film festival, and we did a 3D film festival that was very successful. And then I bounced around for a little while, worked at a few different places, and then more prestigiously landed the job of assistant manager at the Capitol Theater in Rome, New York.
Wow.
And I've been doing work with them on and off for many years.
How'd you get up there, all the way up in Rome?
Well, they have an expansion project that's going on right now. I was a little out of work at the moment, and the director there, Art Pierce, said, "Hey, you want to join us for this project?" And I said, "Sure." So packed up all my stuff and moved up, and it was a lot of fun. Was there for about 6 years. The trials and tribulations of working in a 87-year-old movie theater don't go completely unchecked. You know, we had a lot of stuff falling apart. But
You gotta have some stories. What's some good stories?
Oh, let's see. There were, we did a lot of shows. We did a lot of great screenings there over the years. We had, I remember one year we ran Glenn or Glenda, and I can't remember what the co-feature was. It might have been Plan 9 from Outer Space. And we had in attendance Conrad Brooks, who was in
awesome.
both of those films, and he was one of the Ed Wood protégés at the time.
Yeah.
And he was a real character. You know, he came to town, and everybody in Rome treated him like a Hollywood celebrity. You know, they heard that he had been in classic films, and they didn't know what kind of classic films, but he was in classic films, so he was there.
Could have been Gable to them. They would.
Yeah, right, exactly. And he was signing autographs all day for people, so he was on Cloud 9 rather than Plan 9.
What was he like?
An interesting character, yes, very interesting.
Interesting,
guy.
good or bad?
Eccentric.
Okay.
And, you certainly have your fair share of interesting customers too, but the people that go to those shows are, by and large, very intelligent people. They're looking for interesting programming in an area where maybe you don't have as much of that. Classic screenings were a little bit spoiled in the New York area.
Yeah, no doubt.
Classic film shows left and right. And the fun of it was doing the programming. I remember one year we did, we would always do our drive-in double feature, and we would have two films that you would see in the
like
drive-ins.
a beach movie.
Yeah, right.
Like that,
They were usually horror science fiction films. We'd have one big picture that was like the A picture that was a real good one, and then we'd have a B feature that was really cornball. You know, one was like a combination, an average combination would have been like a Godzilla film for the A feature, and then we'd run the Giant Claw for the B feature.
All right,
so
cool.
that would give you the idea. We run trailers in between, but one year we ran a caveman double feature,
Mhm.
and I remember I got we get a $50 giveaway that if you came dressed as a caveman, the best dressed caveman or cavewoman based on a panel of judges would win $50.
Okay.
And we had about 8 or 9 people show up dressed up as cavemen. It was
Wow.
great.
Who won?
It was actually somebody out of the area that we knew, one of our regular customers, and he was a young boy now. He's a young man now, but that was several years ago, and it was a real fun evening.
No, it's got to be definitely different and stuff. So, career paths, doing different things. You like being in film? You like doing this?
I love it. I love seeing people's reactions to films. That's really the motivation for what I do. One good philosophy that I always tried to adhere to and pass on to people at the Capitol was when you're working there, obviously it's a little bit difficult because you're doing stuff, but try to sit in and watch some of the movie, or at least all of it, at least one of the shows, with the audience, because their reaction to the film is really the reason that gives you the energy to know why you're doing it. You know, it gives you the motivation for it.
And it comes full circle back to you sitting with your dad.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's nothing like it having 500 people really enjoying a film, and that's what it's all about. I still love showing films for people, and I hope people in generations to come still enjoy these pictures.
Well, that's what you're all about. That's what we're all about. For classic movies and more, from Jack Theakston, I'm Rob Madaska. We'll see you next time.